Hello everybody. This is going to be a very different episode of TNT. However, I just got in an accident today, so I definitely want to voice my frustrations. Now, what we're looking at is Naamans Road. Anyone that knows me, this is Wilmington, Delaware, but again, I just want to make sure people know. Naamans Road, pretty traffic populated 2-lane highway. Now, if you look this way, you're going to have Burlington Coat Factory not too far away. And if you go that way, you're also going to have the Route 13 Philadelphia Pike not too far away. This specific road right here is the road that customers have to use to leave cabinets to go. Now, I got rear-ended today. Now, this is what the guy told me. Originally, he pulls back and tells me that I pulled out in front of him and then he hit me from behind. In this area right there. Now, when he told me that I pulled out in front of him and that he hit me, I'm thinking that he was on Naamans Road, he hit me, and it was my fault some kind of way. I knew that didn't happen, so automatically I just defaulted and thought this guy was either drunk, on drugs, or crazy. Now, when the cop comes here, then he sits back and goes a little bit more detail about what he thinks happens. Now, this is what he didn't tell me. He was already at the intersection. He's driving a Jeep Cherokee. Now, what happened is, I pulled up behind him. And I wanted to go around him. So I squeezed into this 1-lane exit for merge on the Naamans Road. Now, granted, he's looking here and he's looking this way. This traffic only goes one way, so his only concern would naturally be this direction. He doesn't know that I pull in front of him or on the side of him or however this happens. But I pull up from behind him. He's not aware of it. He's looking this way. And when he gets the green light to go, he pulls and he hits me. Now, in almost every type of reproduction, even with these vehicles, I don't understand how if I pulled in front of him like this, unless I kind of like did a little drift, how he would be able to hit me on this corner from behind. What I believe would happen is this, and it's funny because he really believes this story. I talked to him for a little bit. He's a good guy. I really believe he thinks this is what happened. Now, this is what I believe would happen after a result of dealing with the police officer who wasn't very helpful. Again, he just assumes I must be lying to him and tells me, come on, man, level with me. I can't have conflicting reports, so if you went past him, just let me know. Granted, officer, I think his name was Alex, last name Hole. Like, Officer A-Hole, he might have went to the other guy as well and asked the same exact questions, but I didn't hear that. But I really felt like he had, in hindsight, defaulted assuming that the other guy was correct and I was wrong. But let me tell you what I think happened, and which is more consistent with this. I pulled up to this intersection. Now, I'm sitting back here getting a viewpoint. I don't think I'm at the official line. I probably went and passed. That's just me. I'll be honest and say that. Now, I'm waiting for traffic. I'm waiting for the right spot. I remember a car coming down this lane, changing lanes when you're not really supposed to because it's a traffic light not too far up there. So I thought about going, but then when I saw them changing lanes, I kind of pulled up here and was like, no, I got my kid in the car. It's not worth it. Now, at some point, he's behind me. I think when he saw me advance, again, his concern is on this highway. It's the only way to look. I think he figured I was gone. However, I wasn't. I just pulled forward, figured it was a bad idea, and waited for another spot. Now, he's behind me. Now, again, not looking this way because you don't have to look that way. The people aren't usually there. He's not aware of myself. Now, we both are here looking this way for the appropriate opportunity to pull out on Naamans Road. We pull at the exact same time, and we hit each other. He hits me here, we pull off on the side of the road, we talk, we exchange information. Now, the reason why I believe that is because I came back later at this intersection and tried to sit back and look at what possibly would have happened. If he was in the lane, there's no way I could have squeezed up on here. If you know my car, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be up on the curb. He also mentioned that he probably went out to the line. Now, I imagine he might have went out to the line looking forward. I'm not too familiar with this road, so maybe in ignorance, I thought that he was going to turn this way. So I actually sat back and tried to imagine if he was out here pulled up to the line, but I had my experience. I told you before. I pulled up. I'm looking. I do not have any recollection of any vehicle blocking my vantage point. I would have dropped all right here, having this vehicle block my vantage point. And then, in order for me to sit back and see, we would have been here. Now, if we both pulled off at the same time, he could have sideswiped me. And on any point, I don't understand how I went past him like this. And then this angle right here is just, it's literally not possible for him to hit me behind. Now, it's funny because as an officer, I asked him a couple questions about, do you think his story even sounds true? Is it possible? The officer had absolutely no interest in discussing or listening to anything I had to say. But again, he wanted to pull off with the, come on, man, if you did it, just say it, blah, blah, blah. And then he just took off. And I actually called him out. I said, look, if you don't have any interest in listening to what I have to say, then tell me that. Admit that. But don't pretend like you just want me to sit back and make a confession. So again, today we had an accident. Terrell was in the back seat. He was pretty shook up more because he actually thought the Black Hornet was in pain. I think we need to sit back and be careful what we tell our kids. But again, that's what actually happened. So again, I think I'm really angry at Officer A-Hole. He didn't give me a fair share. I actually feel bad for this guy right here because I think he really believes what happened. But for me to sit back and have a recollection of what happened, it does not. Let me tell you, it does not seem plausible. I apologize for you having a bad day. I actually thought I had a bad day because I took you as a man for your word or a person who was telling the truth. And again, I think he does believe he's telling the truth. It's just not how things happen. So again, it is the day of the accident, July 17, 2013. I had my first crash in the Black Hornet, and this is my car's recreation of what I think could have happened, what they think could have happened, and I will tell you why I think what he's saying and what he's proposing just possibly is not true, just because I don't think there's any reason for him to be behind me and to nick me here. A side swipe, yeah. Nicking from behind on his corner, I don't think so.